Every morning at exactly 7 o'clock, an old man walked through his small town carrying a large wooden box. The box wasn't expensive. It wasn't beautifully crafted. In fact, it looked worn from years of use. But what caught everyone's attention wasn't the box itself. It was that the box was always empty. Children laughed as he passed. Neighbors whispered behind their fences. Some people smiled politely, while others shook their heads. There goes the old man with the empty box again. For nearly 20 years, he followed the same routine. Rain or sunshine, summer heat or winter snow, he carried the box. One afternoon, a 16-year-old boy named Ethan saw the old man resting on a park bench. Curiosity finally got the better of him. "Sir," Ethan asked, "can I ask you something?" The old man smiled. "Of course. Why do you carry an empty box every single day?" The old man chuckled softly. "I've been waiting a long time for someone to ask that." Ethan looked surprised. "Really? Most people don't ask questions anymore," the old man said. "They create answers in their own minds." Ethan sat beside him. "So, what's inside the box?" The old man slowly opened the lid. Nothing. Completely empty. Ethan frowned. "I don't get it." The old man gently closed the lid. "When I was your age," he began, "I carried things much heavier than this box. I carried every insult people ever said to me. I carried every mistake I couldn't forgive. I carried fear that I wasn't good enough. I carried anger toward people who had already forgotten what they had done. Eventually, those invisible things became heavier than anything I could hold." He paused for a moment before continuing. "One morning, I realized something that changed my life. No one was forcing me to carry them. I was choosing to." So he built the wooden box. Every morning before leaving home, he imagined placing yesterday's burdens inside it. The argument with his brother, the business deal that failed, the words he wished he could take back, the worries about tomorrow. He imagined putting each one into the box before stepping outside. "By the time I returned home," he said, "I remembered something. The box had been empty all day. The weight was never in the box. It was always in my mind." Ethan stayed silent. The old man's words didn't sound dramatic. They sounded true. The next day, Ethan couldn't stop thinking about the conversation. At school, someone mocked his old shoes. Normally, he would have replayed that moment for hours. Instead, he remembered the box. He quietly asked himself, "Do I really want to carry this?" He decided not to. Later that week, he failed an important math test. His first thought was, "I'm a failure." Then he remembered the box again. Failing one test didn't mean he had to carry that label forever. So he studied harder instead. Weeks passed. Something strange began happening. The problems in Ethan's life didn't disappear. His attitude changed. And somehow, life felt lighter. One Saturday morning, Ethan found the old man walking as usual. This time, Ethan was carrying something too, a small cardboard box. The old man laughed. "I see you've started." Ethan smiled. "I don't actually put anything in it." "You don't have to," the old man replied. "The box isn't for your hands. It's for your heart." Years passed. The old man eventually stopped walking through town. People noticed. Some wondered where he had gone. Others simply forgot. Life moved on. But every Saturday morning, another familiar face appeared. It was Ethan, now a grown man, walking through the same streets, carrying the same empty box. One little girl pointed at him and asked her mother, "Why does that man carry an empty box?" Her mother shrugged. "I have no idea." Ethan overheard the question. He smiled. Maybe one day she would ask him herself. And when she did, the lesson would continue. Because every generation carries invisible weight. Pressure to succeed, fear of failure, regret over yesterday, anxiety about tomorrow. We spend years collecting burdens that no one ever asked us to carry. Sometimes we hold on to one painful conversation for decades. Sometimes we let one mistake define our entire identity. Sometimes we carry expectations that don't even belong to us. The truth is, life will always give you reasons to feel heavy. But wisdom comes from choosing what deserves your energy. You can't stop disappointment. You can't prevent criticism. You can't control every outcome. But you can decide whether those moments become permanent passengers in your life. Imagine how different your days would feel if every morning you mentally emptied your own box. Leave yesterday where it belongs. Leave other people's opinions where they belong. Leave your fear of tomorrow where it belongs. Walk into today carrying only what helps you move forward. Because strength isn't measured by how much weight you can hold. Real strength is knowing what to let go. And perhaps the happiest people aren't the ones with perfect lives. They're simply the ones who stopped carrying things they were never meant to keep. So here's a question worth asking yourself tonight. If you had your own empty box, what would you finally choose to leave inside? Because sometimes the life you've been searching for doesn't begin when you gain something new. It begins the moment you put something down.